One of the really cool things about doing this over and over again is that I usually come up with ideas, but I don't bother scripting them. I just think of what I'm going to say, and what comes out is not always the same. I spent the last half hour driving home listening to an Eagles playlist off of Apple Music. Reason, of course, why I was listening to an Eagles playlist is because I found out earlier today that Glenn Frey had passed away. And 2016 is becoming very quickly the year of Stephen Moffat. Anybody who watches Doctor Who or Sherlock will know that Stephen Moffat loves to kill off characters. And we've had a lot of very important, very meaningful deaths in 2016. And as of this writing, it's only the 18th of January. David Bowie, Alan Rickman, Glenn Frey, Lenny Kilmister, Natalie Cole, just to name a few. Alan Rickman was the one that hit me the worst. I read that and I cried. Alan Rickman was a phenomenal actor. Was never bad in anything. Even Galaxy Quest, which was a horrifically awful movie. But, he still maintained, he kind of held it together. There's always going to be that one horrific movie that there's going to have one actor who just kind of holds it together and goes, that was an awful movie, but, I loved so-and-so in it. Alan Rickman was one of those was one of those actors. Everybody paid really great tribute to him. Great guy. And so, it got me to thinking that, I grew up listening to Motorhead. I grew up listening to David Bowie. I grew up listening to the Eagles. I didn't grow up listening to Natalie Cole, but who did? And I grew up watching Alan Rickman. I remember the first time I'd seen him was trying to take over Nakatomi Plaza in Die Hard. And him absolutely butchering the line, yippee-ki-yay, motherfuck. And I'm thinking, wow, that was totally awesome. And then just kind of progressing from there. You'd see him in this, that, and the other. You'd see Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Galaxy Quest, as I mentioned. All of the Harry Potter movies. Love Actually. One of my favorite roles of his, the Metatron in Dogma. But the people who shaped you and molded you as you grew up, the artists that you got your muse from are showing their mortality. Their art shows its immortality, but the artist shows their mortality. And it makes one, it gets the wrong thoughts going. And, I spent most of the drive thinking of my own mortality because, these guys are dying off in their 60s and 70s. I'm nowhere near my 60s or my 70s, even with the gray hair. You can tell. By the way, shout out. I don't normally do this, but shout out to Lady Jane's in Strongsville. Made this look a little bit more presentable. Haircut, shampoo, goatee trim, and a 10-minute scalp treatment where they just massaged my scalp and let me relax because I really needed it after the move and everything else. And it was very reasonably priced, very well done. They actually treated me the way that I've always wanted to be treated at a salon. Every place else that I've gone, everywhere else I've let my wife take me, it's like I was a guy and I had no business being there. And so, Lady Jane's, excellent work. My wife calls it the Hooters of haircuts, but I'm not going to say that the stylists there weren't like, they weren't Hooter like, they weren't like flaunting it, they weren't like, oh look, here's my bow bathe, but they were aesthetically pleasing, but they were professional and they treated you like you wanted to be treated. And I told her, I said, this is my zen, this is how I relax. And it was wonderful. I enjoyed it. And she just, she didn't gab. She didn't, a lot of idle chit chat and everything else. She just let me relax, and it was great. But again, off track. When the artists that you had look up to start showing your mortality, you start thinking of your own. But this year is turning out to be kind of a bummer. And so I'm hoping. I had read one thing where somebody had said we need to put a protective circle around Sir Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. And I thought, yeah, they're probably going to end up killing each other in a very bizarre and really cool way. That neither of them will have cancer. It'll just be something where they, like El Macho style, they'll die with sticks of dynamite strapped to their chest, riding a shark into an active volcano where there's nothing left but a pile of singed chest hair. But if I have one wish for 2016, I'd really like you to stop killing off the people that I grew up admiring, because I'd like to admire them for just a little bit longer. I have this morbid fear, and I don't know who else I could manage to lose in this year. It's going to be a tough year if this is how I'm going to feel in January, and this is only one of 12 months. If it gets any worse, I'm probably going to be needing Xanax and Zoloft and a bunch of other drugs just to regulate. But not to fear. I have my Eagles playlist, I have my Bowie playlist, and I have my 3 songs from Motorhead that I know. So we'll get through this. We'll remember the art. We'll enjoy the art, and we'll remember the artists. And, Godspeed. Good luck, gentlemen.